Hello, supply chain management students. Welcome to week 6 of Management 6133. This week we are taking a break from SAP and we are going to focus on leadership skills and job skills. So we're going to be covering specific leadership qualities important for supply chain management, as well as looking at the 3 job skills we have chosen in the program to focus on. So I hope you have participated in the discussion on good bosses and bad bosses. And I hope this is a good summary of ideas of good things bosses have done that you thought were great bosses. So take a look at this picture and remember this is when you're a supply chain management leader and that these are important things you should focus on. So here's some specific things as a supply chain management leader you should focus on. You should be a strong communicator. And when I talk about being a strong communicator, what I specifically mean are things like listening with the intent to understand rather than just replying, putting yourself in other people's shoes and being empathetic, tailoring your communication style to the people you're communicating with. Communicating with entry-level employees is different than communicating with your bosses. Make sure you're clear and to the point. Make sure you're giving and receiving constructive feedback. Understanding and responding to nonverbal cues. These are all important things as far as being a strong communicator. Also, as a supply chain leader, you also need to be very, very organized, manage your time well, make the right level of progress towards goals. We feel this is so important. This is why you take a project management course in this program. It's also important that you keep up with change. Supply chain management is always changing, and you need to keep up with that to be a good leader. So to keep up with it, you could become a member of a professional organization such as the Association for Supply Chain Management, Supply Chain Canada, the Logistics Institute, the Public Buyers Association. Those are all great ways. By going to the professional development nights and events, you can keep up with change. Also by subscribing to journals and newsletters and blogs, conducting market research with customers and suppliers, follow supply chain influencers and topics. You need to keep up. You also need to go beyond fulfilling basic responsibilities. Always, look at cause and effects. What can I be doing to correct things? Not just what's required of you. As a leader, you may be doing projects or jobs that you're not completely comfortable with or knowledgeable on. So it's really important that you gain detailed understanding of key deliverables and metrics. Ask lots of questions, ask lots of questions, ask lots of questions. Cultivate strong relationships, whether that be with your employees or your direct supervisors. Invest in your future. So, be taking courses, always learning. Find a mentor or be a mentor. It's a great way to learn from people and develop the next leaders. It's important to, walk the talk. So if you expect your employees to show up on time and work late and work hard, you need to do as well. Be collaborative. As a leader, you're not expected to know everything. You have a team. Use that team. Ask them for advice. Ask them for input. As the leader, you will have to make the final decision, but use your team to come up with ideas. Be professionally humble. So just because you're the boss or the manager or the leader doesn't mean you know it all. Express when you don't know it all, when you need help, when you need your employees to step up. As a supply chain leader, you also need to be, technically competent, have good people skills and good resiliency skills. And you also have to understand that different leadership skills are different at different levels. So being a shift supervisor at Walmart takes different skills than being the director of a multi-million-dollar company. So in the supply chain management program, each program at Fanshawe College had to pick a signature learning experience and 3 job skills to focus on. So in supply chain management, Your signature learning experience is in Management 6085, Inventory and Distribution Management, and it's a live client project. So for the winter of 2022, you should be doing a project with Fingold Farm Supplies. So that's your signature learning experience. We also decided in this program the 3 job skills we're going to focus on are global citizenship, implementation skills, and social intelligence. And these are all leadership skills. So that's why it's important that we talk about this in this module and how these 3 skills contribute to being a good supply chain professional as well as a good leader. So the first job skill we're focusing on is global citizenship. So I want you to think about, what is global citizenship? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to being a supply chain professional? So global citizenship is a way of thinking and a commitment to justice, the recognition of human rights and responsibilities, and a call to action. So you have probably heard of the term social justice. So, we don't want, to impact the environment. We don't want climate change. We don't want people working in poor working conditions. We want children to be children. So you need to understand your place in the world and what you do, how it impacts others. So understanding it is one thing, but a call to action, so doing something about it, is another thing. So think about yourself and your job as a supply chain professional. What are some things that concern you? Is it climate change? Is it unsafe working conditions? Is it child labor? What's out there that concerns you? Then you need to think about, what do I need to learn? What skills do I need to achieve to be able to address that, to improve climate change, to improve working conditions? Get the education and research that you need. Then you need to take action to address those things, and hopefully you've impacted change. So think about your role as a supply chain professional. How can you act as a good global citizen? As a buyer, I know I want to pick suppliers that don't pollute the environment, don't use children in their factories, have safe working conditions, are maybe close to me so I'm not polluting by transporting material back and forth. If I worked in the transportation field, I want to focus on, using transportation methods that have minimal impact to the environment. As a warehouse manager or worker, I want to make sure that my warehouse, it doesn't have a huge carbon footprint, right? It's not polluting a lot. It's not taking up a lot of space. I want minimal inventory, so I'm not impacting the environment. If I was in inventory, I want to make sure I don't have too much inventory that's going to go obsolete and then it's going to fill up the warehouse. I need to be very strategic about that. I encourage you to check out this website to see what other companies are doing to be good global citizens as far as their roles in supply chain. So the second job skill we're focusing on in this program is social intelligence. So take a minute to think about, what is social intelligence? What do you mean by that? Why do I need to know about that to work in supply chain? So when we're talking about social intelligence, what we mean is it's the ways or the capacities to interact with other people positively. So in many job postings, you'll see the employee needs good social skills or good people skills or good interpersonal skills. They need to be team players. They need to be collaborative. So companies want to hire people that are socially intelligent. So some elements of social intelligence include knowledge of social norms, rules, and scripts. So social norms, rules, and scripts can be different in different settings. So some companies are very formal and expect, very formal social norms. Some cultures, are different as far as social norms. So you need to understand the environment you're going into and understand what those social norms are. Are handshakes expected? Are bows expected? Is eye contact expected? What are some conversation topics I should avoid? Those sorts of things. You also need good verbal fluency and conversational skills to be socially intelligent. Not only do you need conversational skills, but you need good listening skills. So, when you're talking to people, take a break. And when you're listening to them, use head nods and repeat what they're saying, paraphrasing, so they understand that you are listening and you are interested. You need the ability to read people and situations. So watch their facial expressions. Watch their body language. Are they interested in what you're saying? Should you keep talking, or do you realize that, they've lost interest and you should be quiet and start listening to them? Role-playing and social self-efficacy. So role-playing, put yourself in other people's shoes. Be empathetic. Social self-efficacy. Are you motivated to make change? Impression management skills. So again, that comes back to thinking about your body language and your facial expressions. Are you portraying the image you want people to see? Avoid arguing. Nothing upsets people more than somebody who's very argumentative. So you may say, I'm not good at conversation. I'm very quiet. I don't know what to say, those sorts of things. So how do I get better? Well, it takes time and it takes practice. So go to events and practice striking up conversations and take notes of things that worked and things that didn't work. When did I say certain things that people looked at me like, I can't believe she said that? Or, oh, that's very interesting. Watch other people. What are they doing? How are they talking? What is their body language? You need to practice in different social settings. So don't try the same social settings over and over again. You can try professional networking events or personal networking events such as church or hobby events, those sorts of things. But you need to practice and you need to try different things. So you may say, why do I need to be socially intelligent in the supply chain world? Well, it's very important, right? Supply chain is all about relationships with suppliers, relationships with customers, relationships with the people you work with. So you need to be good communicators. You need to be good listeners. You need to maintain those relationships. So the third job skill we wanted to focus on was implementation skills. So take a minute to think about what are implementation skills? Why do I need implementation skills? Why do I need to understand and be good at implementation skills in supply chain management? So implementation skills are a collection of skills that enable an individual to guide projects from ideation phase through to completion. So you need to be able to implement, have implementation skills. You need to be able to design, manage, and execute projects, initiatives, or plans in an organized, timely fashion. So this is why you take the project management skills. You need to be able to implement projects and tasks. So in supply chain management, think about what projects or what tasks or what jobs am I going to have to implement? And there'll be many. In this course, we're learning about SAP. So you may be in a project to implement SAP or another ERP system. You may be on a team to where you're starting a new product and you're designing it and implementing it, and as a supply chain professional, you're all part of that. In your supply chain team, you may be implementing a project to reduce material costs. You may need to find a new supplier. So finding the supplier, qualifying the supplier, doing contracts, negotiating them, and starting them, those are all projects. You need to be able to implement those. So I hope this lecture helped you understand what leadership qualities you need to be supply chain professional, and how the job skills of global citizenship, social intelligence, and implementation skills are important in supply chain and important to you as a leader.